Okay, so now we're looking at question 4 of SAC 2, semester 1, 2020. All right, so here this question. A group of AFL fans were asked if they followed another sport. 45% of the fans follow a rugby league team, R. You can see that R is in the table. While 60% of the fans follow a soccer team, S. And you can see S is also in the table below. 20% of the AFL fans do not follow a team in soccer or rugby league. So that would be... so don't follow either. All right. Okay, so we need to complete this probability table. We can see the first thing to note on this probability table is that the bottom right-hand corner is 1. So yes, it is a probability table, not percentages. And everything needs to add to that 1 in the when we add down and across to this section here. Let's fill in the information we are given. So, first of all, we know that 45% of the fans follow a rugby league team. So that's a total of rugby league. So that's here, 0.45. 60% of the fans follow a soccer team. So the total of soccer fans is 0.60. Let's go down. 60. 20% of the fans do not follow a team in soccer or rugby. So not soccer, not rugby, that's 20%. So 0.20. And now we can fill in the rest of the table just using subtraction. So in this spot here, it's just 1 minus 0.6. So that needs to be 0.4. So I'm just putting in a different color so you can see what's not given in the what I'm doing the subtractions and what's not given in the actual question. R, not S, we can fill in. It's a bit like just filling in the blank, 0.20. We know that what R intersection S is now, 0.25, because the reason why I could fill that in is because this plus this, so 0.25 plus 0.20 equals 0.45. They add across and add across, and they add down, okay, to those totals. You can, if you want to write total there, you can. Okay, they're the totals. Okay, so let's continue filling this out. We've got 0.35 here and 0.55. So that was 2 marks. So 2 marks for 1 mark for filling in half correct, 2 marks for filling it in all correct. Okay, so find the probability, so this is BI, find the probability that an AFL fan chosen at random follows a rugby league team but not a soccer team. So the probability that a rugby league team, a AFL fan follows a rugby league team, but not intersection, not a soccer team. So not a soccer team, that's not. So where is that? You just got to read it off the table. So R intersect, not S, is this one here. So 0.2. That's 1 mark. Okay, next one. I follows a, and I'm just make this a bit smaller so we can still see our table. Oops, that's small. So follows a soccer or rugby league team, but not both. So that is, there's a few ways you can do this one, or 2 ways really, but I'll do it this way. So the probability of a rugby league team that follows a soccer or a rugby league team, but not both. So one or the other. So they can follow a rugby league team. Actually, it's not L, I should use R. So they can follow a rugby league team, intersection, not a soccer team, or they can not follow a rugby league team, but they follow a soccer team. So they follow one of them, but not both. So if we look at that on the actual table, a rugby league team intersection, not a soccer team, is 0.2. Not a rugby league team intersection, a soccer team is 0.35. So we just write them in and we add them together. So it's 0.2 plus 0.35. So we might do it underneath. Undo. Do that. Sorry. 0.2 plus 0.35, that equals 0.55. That's the answer. And that's 1 mark. All right, next part. So the next part says, follows a soccer team given they follow a rugby league team. All right, so that's a bit of a hint there. We're using conditional probability here. So we're looking for the probability of soccer team given they follow a rugby league team. That's equal to the probability of the intersection of both of those using what we know about conditional probability divided by the probability of what's given, which is the probability of a rugby team. And this is worth 2 marks, so you had to show your working. So that equals 0.25. If you look at the table, the intersection of S intersection R is 0.25 divided by the probability of R is 0.45. I'll go back to the table so you can see it in a minute. If you work that out on your calculator, it gives you 0.56. So 1 mark for the working, 1 mark for the answer. Let's have a look at where I got those numbers from. So S intersect R, 0.25. Probability of R was 0.45. That's where I got those 2 numbers on, and it gave us 0.56. Okay, and that is the end of question 4.